Thank you.
Thanks.
Merci beaucoup.
Yeah.
Life goes up and it goes down. Life goes up and it goes down. Life goes up and it goes down.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, everybody in between and all over the world, it is my pleasure, my privilege to bring to you this quarter-final matchup. A repeat of a matchup we had earlier in the tournament, but this time with heightened stakes, heightened tension, and a wonderful feeling around the entire pitch. I am Lorca Murray. I am joined by the incredibly precise polyglot herself, Charlotte Terrasson. What are you looking forward to in this Italy versus Switzerland matchup?
Highlights. I mean, I'm sure we'll get thousands of highlights, and I just can't wait to see that a rematch, see how they prepared for this game now that the tension is higher, that there is qualification to the key, qualification to the semis tomorrow. That will be intense.
As these two teams looking to battle it out, the Italians already past halfway and trying to find a path against the Swiss. They've done it before, but as we say so frequently, as it might become an adage, it is difficult to beat the same team twice. Akangeli shoots for the end zone and finds the streaking form of Irene Scazzieri.
Irene Scazzieri, I mean, what a receiver. Obvious choice. When you see her go to the end zone, she has such a timing, such a great way of getting free. Her cuts are amazing, but her pace and intelligence of the game is really impressive. Look at her while playing and you will understand a single point and is enough to see how good she is. I mean, so good that she made the tryouts for San Francisco Fury for this season. She came extra this week just to play EUCF from the United States. So lucky Italy, she is back just for this championship. I mean, she's not coming for nothing and will battle till the end to get her team as far as possible for sure.
Lucky for Italy and lucky for us, although maybe a little bit unfortunate for the Swiss. And of course, San Francisco Fury, an absolute institution when it comes to Ultimate in America. And that's the original home of this sport, though I'm sure it feels plenty welcome here on the fields of Limerick at the University of Limerick Sports Ground. Although the rain starting to pick up for the first time today in significant earnest, just in time to dampen the approach of these teams, but I'm sure not their spirits. As the Swiss starting off with a split stack and a horizontal handler position, hoping to generate some movement downfield, but immediately the cuts seem to cut each other off. It's a deep shot instead. 3 Swiss underneath it. Comes down somehow in the hands of Galland. Yannick Galland from the front of the end zone, looking for a throw and finding one on the opposite side in the form of Avtokic.
3 Swiss bodies placed under the disc, and it is Galland who got it at the end after an unfortunate miss. Luckily, she was here as a backup. And good patience in front of the end zone to find a free Abdukic for the first goal of Switzerland. And I think that the rain already stopped, or like just a little shower to make sure that the field is wet. Everyone can lay out safely and slide into semis. Let's see who will be this team.
I'm expecting more highlights than a naughty's hairdressers today in this game, and the conditions are certainly going to engender our teams to maybe put their bodies on the line. Certainly the opportunity for glory in that semi-final spot is going to be inspiration enough. 1-1. Some nice quick holds as well. 3 passes apiece for each team, flawless. So great execution in the early exchanges. 1-1.
And for now, yeah, pretty clean. They don't care about the water, the rain, just keep playing their ultimate. They got the technique, skills, control of the disc, everything needed to play in any conditions.
As that is going to go out. Arcangeli going to pick it up and take it from the brick mark in the middle of the pitch. The Italians with a slight side stack variation, so 2 on this near sideline, and then a partnership in the middle of the pitch to try and generate a bit more space. You can see the Swiss defenders trying to peel off into that open channel and limit the availability of downfield options.
I mean, such spread players, I would have done the same as defender, just use the space, poach. I mean, don't stick to your player, absolutely. Play smart. It's exactly what they do. They know there's wind. They might have time with a floaty disc to catch up in case.
That's a great point, actually, with the direction of the wind coming from the right to the left. Any of those step back, swing, dump passes have the opportunity to get caught underneath and just float a little bit longer than the thrower intends. Good cuts. We saw the Italians were in the open side in their quarterfinal, were so good at creating space for each other with their movements. The ladies, no different, and that was a fantastically quick play. Bengi, the one who's finishing off the shot, and completed in the other end.
Again, a very quick offense, pretty clean. Just one call, but that was quickly solved. Beautiful offense. And we had Schindler getting that pace up, and she really ran through it. Almost got a hand on that one. That could have been a first turnover in this game. So close, but not yet. Let's wait for this one to happen.
And getting that catch was Francesca Sorrenti. As you can see how quickly they moved the disc, popping it. Bengi with the shot straight through to Sorrenti. Sorrenti was actually a European champion back in 2011 with the Italian under-20 side.
2011. That's one more medal for Sorrenti, who already has a few ones. I mean, playing with shots. They also won the EUCF European Club Championship finals. Some golden medals around the neck, Sorrenti.
She's looking to weigh herself down further with accolades at the end of this week. But first they'll have to fight their way through the Swiss, who aren't afraid to take a few shots in their quest for glory either. Galland tries to get the swing, but that dump shot down. That's some brilliant pressure on the mark, but nice awareness. And the Swiss throwing into some contested spaces, but right now showing the trust they have in their receiver, Cyril. Looking for options, goes with the flick break. It's not the easiest pass. And it was a difficult one to catch too, so a turnover in the end zone and our first turn of the game.
Yeah, a little bit high. There was a second attempt, but the disc just flying away from the receiver. And as you say, Lorcan, we have a first break opportunity. This is the first turnover of the game.
So let's see how this Italian D-line can make their way downfield. That's some good marking in the dump space initially. Hard work by Susanna Castellini to get free. Sending it down Capucci. It's going to be a stall out called. I think that's understandable. There was an awful long time with the disc in hand.
But apparently contested because the disc is still in the Italian possession. Only 2 seconds to throw that one. The trap situation, that will be very stressful. I want to see what she's going to choose.
So it's Susanna with the disc in hand. And can't get it down the line, so the turn goes straight back. Felt like she didn't have too many options. Had to try and squeeze it into the space for Casarini. So here come the Swiss one more time, Cerul. And again, that mark and those dump coverage is fantastic. They're forced to go deep, but they don't mind it when they've got those kinds of shots. And receivers of the caliber of Niederhauser on the other side.
Niederhauser for the boxing out, getting that disc. Not impressed by the presence of Casarini, who was ready also to give it for the defense. But the positioning of Niederhauser much better, really well read, and got it first on that shot from Cirule.
So Cirule opening it up. It's something that concerns me a little bit, and I'd like to get your opinion on, Charlotte.
Tell me
It
everything.
seems like,
What do you want to know?
well, I have these issues with my mother. No, my mother is a wonderful woman.
Cheers to her. She's listening. Tell me everything. I got all the gossip you want on both teams. Tell me what you want to know.
Well, it seems like the Italians are doing a fantastic job of shutting down the dump space for the Swiss and making them look downfield on high stall counts and take on these risky shots. So far they've worked out, or have almost worked out anyway. That's not going to be sustainable throughout the game.
I don't know. I mean, because I don't think that might be the best option for defending, because as you see, they have, for example, Dace Cirule, who loves hucking. She is an amazing hugger, can hug a full field sidearm without problem against the wind as well. So it's almost not even a last chance, last try shot for her. It's a regular shot. And with the great receiver they have on the Swiss team, I don't think that's the option you want to give them, actually.
So we'll see how they respond on the next point. Well, provided they're able to knock this one in. Baroni looking for options, getting into a little bit of trouble herself, and the Swiss are on every back shoulder right now. Bengi gets it across to Arcangeli. Arcangeli back to Bengi. And going for the inside scoop, breaking a brilliant layout grab, and there's your first major highlight, courtesy of Simona Stefanelli.
What a layout. I mean, the player behind was also ready to get that one, but Stefanelli saw her moment and seized it for the first highlight of that game. I wouldn't say actually the first highlight. I love those big shots from the Swiss side. These are also good highlights. But never mind, this is one more beautiful Stefanelli throwing herself, and this is a clean hold again. Look at this reflexes.
I do have to wonder, was Eleonora Laffy able to just catch that if Stefanelli hadn't laid out? But you've got to make sure this is, of course, a quarter-final and everything on the line for these two teams.
Just make sure you get the disc or just communicate. However, it is 3-2. Both teams still trading to get a spot on the semi-final, facing the winner from the game on the other stream of France versus GB. And that pool is out.
So that pull going to the brick mark actually more effective than the Swiss pull was previously, which went a bit too high and got caught by the wind, going all the way back to their own brick mark almost. So Cirule, like you say, cannons.
Cirule with the best total of assists and goals on the Swiss team so far. She has 29 assists and goals. So I'm not lying when I tell you that she likes to huck. Probably most of those goals are assists are from hucking.
Avtokic and Cirule, they've come up against this Italian zone before, Charlotte. They didn't fare too well.
Indeed, and apparently from what the coaches told us, they worked on it while they used the game against Austria to work against for their offense against the zone, because Austria apparently has a similar defense zone as the Italians. So the great use of their games to work on what they will need to use for more important game as the quarterfinals. Rabalia with the defense getting high.
Brilliant defense by Rabalia. And the Italians lightning quick in their response. That was about as blatant an after catch jump as I've seen this week, and we've seen a lot of them. Rabalia.
Can't blame her for trying.
God does love a trier, as we say, and that is an incredible attempt and completion. Susanna Casarini incisive with that throw through a canyon of 3 Swiss players for the goal, the break, and the 4-2 lead.
Casarini and Giovannini working together, 2 teammates on their club teams as well. They already have some connections and use them wisely on the national team. For first break, this is actually the first break of the game. I just realized, oh my. Another look on Rabalia's defense.
Fantastic block by Rabalia, and then wasting no time getting right back to it. They would work their way up all the way to the front corner, but not force anything in. And then let's just have another look at this throw. It's going to come in just a couple of seconds. So Rabalia gets it to Casarini, and through 3 Swiss defenders, somehow is able to find Giovannini. Perhaps that club connection coming into full effect, Charlotte.
I think these club connections really help the national teams, on any national team. It's very interesting to see this melting pot of clubs, each of them bringing their own inputs, their own style, but also mixing with the other ones. Obviously, it's always the major houses that are bringing their style, the small little clubs with only one represents. It's not very impactful, but it's always interesting to see how the styles are similar or different.
And again, the Swiss struggling against the Italians, and a little bit against the wind, although it's died down ever so slightly. Casarini, we know she has got great throws, and there's another example. There's going to be a foul called. As early on, it seems like the Swiss are really going to need to work to shut down this Casarini-Giovannini connection. Or perhaps Giovannini getting a little bit too physical.
Yeah.
In an attempt to get free there.
Maybe she gave a bit of a elbow shoulder bump before cutting, pushing away the defense. It might be natural reflex, you want to get free, but it is actually a foul. You're not allowed to push your defense away. Get out of my way.
This is my disc.
This is mine.
I mean, the trick is to do it off camera so we can't disprove
We
the
have a
legitimacy of your cut.
We have a nice sideline of Italian mix, already qualified for their semis, dancing on the sideline to cheer for their teammates.
So the Italian mixed and open teams have both qualified for semi-finals already.
They are. Italy is going to face GB, I believe,
In the open division,
in
yep.
the mix and open division.
So
Check your facts, but I think mixed as well.
And I think you should never check your facts. You should just trust us.
No, I'm talking to myself.
Confidence. Speak with confidence and speak quickly enough, and people won't challenge you. Or else
It
one
is
of the
a lie.
champs
Italy is facing Ireland. But right now, Italy is facing Switzerland and just got another break on the scoreboard. Pancotti with the disc for the 5th score of Italy, starting really well this first half of the quarterfinal. In Switzerland taking the timeout.
Understandably so. After an exchange until 2, the Italians have turned up La Fata, and they have been able to push themselves into a 5-2 lead. So the Swiss, as we have another look at that score, and Susanna Casarini, they turned down her first assist, and she just thought, well, that's fine. I've got plenty of good cutters down there, and this time it's Gaia Pancotti who gets the score and helps push their lead out to 5-2.
We are Hive Ultimate, a group of players and coaches from all over the world working together to progress the next generation of Ultimate strategy. We've helped top teams win world championships and new teams introduce the sport in a fun and inclusive way. Search for Hive Ultimate on YouTube to learn more about our cutting-edge strategies and to see analysis of world-class teams. To find out what Hive can do for your team, head over to our Patreon page where you can gain access to our exclusive drills and session plans and to join our worldwide community of coaches. Get ahead of the curve with Hive Ultimate.
Welcome back, everybody, to this incredibly exciting quarter-final matchup between Italy and Switzerland. Right now, Italy are in the driver's seat. They have been battling hard and they want to join their open and mixed teams in the semi-finals. We were talking about how it is Italy mixed will be facing Ireland mixed in the semi-final, a repeat of an earlier matchup. This game itself is also a repeat of an earlier matchup. The Italians ran out winners in that game. Will they run out winners in this game? Well, after a Swiss timeout, they want to make sure they don't let it slip away from them early. And some quick back and forth passing. They've seen this zone before, and it gave them an awful lot of trouble. Let's see if what they've learned. Cerule thinks about the deep shot. Probably thinks about it a lot, knowing her history. Of course, when Olivia Hauser is your coach as well, one of the finest shooters in the history of women's ultimate here in Europe, and ultimate in Europe. That addendum is not required. Or prefix, I should say, is not required. Just a fantastic thrower. Avdokic sends it back into the middle. Lehmann across to Cerule, and Cerule opens up looking for the far corner. And it's an incredible block!
Oh my God!
Maria Sofia Marrero! Ave Maria!
Oh my gosh, have you seen that layup from Marrero? She's amazing. Look at this chip shot. Chipping the disc. Oh my. Definitely using her years of handball players to lay out. Oh my. What a crazy beat. Getting high. She already has a tall body, but she can get higher. Amazing bid defense for Italy.
And they respond with a deep shot immediately themselves. Perfectly weighted to the running form of Pancotti. Pancotti now on the far sideline, waits for assistance to arrive. It arrives in the form of Susanna Casarini, who immediately keeps the flow going. And that shot over, but Pancotti catches it out of bounds and immediately recognizes it, so it goes back out. Maybe forcing things a little bit too much.
2 air bounds for the throw, took the wind, brought it out of bounds. You know the song, the drill.
It happens to all of us.
The best of
Cerule
us.
calls a violation, and I think needed one because she's under a lot of pressure, and that still count has to be getting higher.
Again, the Italians with a zone. Rabalia with the duty of chasing that disc. Wondering if she'll go for this deep look again, knowing that Marrero is still covering that deep space.
It's probably a less inviting prospect after that incredible play by Marrero. I thought it was destined for the hands of Galland, who now has the disc. And arcs one up, creeping into this space to try and get another block. Arnelli couldn't get there in time. Cerule's a big woman as well. Takes it down, Galland, and swings it to the opposite side, taken in full stride and extension by Mayor. And throws it back to Galland, so you can see what they have to go through just to hold on to possession against this Italian zone. A little bit of a classic cup with a 2-2 formation downfield.
Classic, but efficient.
Hey, that's why they're called classics, you know, they never go out of style. Maybe a little bit of conversation about how close Rabalia has been getting on the force.
She's a very intense marker. Does an amazing job, but we'll call it intense.
We call her Sharpie.
You have to remind her sometimes that there is a space you should not cross. But that is also this intensity that and this fire that allows her to get defenses, as we've seen earlier, to get the break for Italy.
She really introduces discomfort into the people with the disc, and that is a vital element of an effective cup.
It is. The discussion keeps going. Wondering what is the deal? Is she contesting or?
I think it's her responses. They're just saying you're not accepting the point I'm making. They're just trying to have a discussion to kind of define it. Because I know a lot of handlers, as a defensive handler marker in my limited playing career, I know a lot of handlers like to take liberties, like to say, oh, I've got disc space. Goes, yeah, but you can't then attack me with your disc space. I do own the area that I occupy. Of course, it is a battle that will always go in favor of offense, because if you're both moving, then the foul is on the defender, and no good defender on the mark is ever totally still.
Yeah, it's a bit complicated to mark without moving at all. So it is always a shadow zone of who is falling who.
And there's the turnover almost immediately after the long discussion. And the Italians strike back with lightning quick efficiency. Cesana shoots, Capucci completes.
With the 360 celebration jump. Happy about this third break in a row. This is 4 points in a row for Italy. Nailing this first half so far. They put the intensity needed for a quarterfinal, for qualification, for semis. This is the material you need to have if you want to get higher in the power pool bracket, in the championship bracket. Have another look at Cesana finding Capucci. Nice give and go between both Italian girls.
And you know, we did give a little bit of hassle, I think it was to Cesana as well, about the very blatant catch and then jump in for the attempt at the score. So I think we have to give a fair balance of praise to Capucci for being able to pull off one of the few legitimate jump-ins for the score that I have seen so far. I remember first seeing Capucci play with the women under 20s in Wienendaal in 2017, where she was very impressive and has only grown as a player since then.
If you follow the mixed team, her younger sister is actually playing on the mixed team.
Familial connections throughout these Italian sides.
Always family thing. I mean, a lot of these names are also familiar due to other family members playing on other teams.
Center to Lehmann. And a big pass over to Cerule. Takes it down confidently and then throws the high backhand. But once again, Marrero in the area and getting the better, this time, of Eugenia Harms. She's currently seeming like a real threat, and it's going to give a lot of issues.
Real good positioning by Marrero, just preventing that the Swiss player gets a position on this one. She just put her body and waited for the disc to come lower. And again, a break opportunity in the hands of Casarini.
Casarini able to get the reset off to Pancotti. Pancotti all the way down the line to Marrero, but Marrero showing perhaps why she's more focused on the defensive end. An unfortunate drop. Down the line, so here come the Swiss again, still looking to get a hold. They haven't had one in a while. Avtokic sends it to the end zone, and Cerule collects for the score.
And another goal on the Cerule stats. She got herself a 31st. Do we say that way? A 31st? That sounds weird. 31, 31st. Stat on her own.
One for every day in the month.
Depends on which month.
July.
February.
So Cerule taking that down. We saw her throwing a couple of deep shots and didn't like what was happening when Marrero was on the other end. So said, you know what, I'm going to go deep and I'm going to beat her, because I don't like these blocks she's getting.
Let me do the job. Like, big body against big body. She's taller. They're like, okay, let me deal with this. Marrero getting the defenses. No more. Cerule wants the points.
So that was what the Swiss needed to help get them into this game. 6-3 now. was 2-2, and then that 4-point run by the Italians employed to great effect. They did have a chance, but couldn't convert it on that one to go up 7-2, and the Swiss responded. They had to respond in that instance. It gets to 7-2, you got to think you're out of this game in a lot of ways. Now we see the Italian O-line, Bolognesi. Sends that all the way across the pitch. Waiting on the other side is Sorrenti. Sorrenti already has a goal to her name.
Sorrenti always looking for that backhand. She loves this backhand release after the swing on the power position, and she does great use of it. So many hugs, perfectly put. Whenever you see her get a swing, don't hesitate and go deep.
Bolognesi launching one deep herself, but it didn't come out the way she intended. Nice heads-up defensive play by Schindler. So now the Swiss, and you can see the Italian, it's the Italian O-line, bear in mind, immediately setting up a zone, showing how well drilled they are, how much effort they put into their strategy. That's a great throw across, but an even better defensive play. Well read and stuffed by Stefanelli. So the Italians can escape for now, giving up a break. Bengi across to Sorrenti. Sorrenti plays it back into the middle to Bolognesi. Maybe holsters that deep shot after the last one didn't entirely go her way. Stefanelli comes under, looks off the first cut, gets the break on the second. Sorrenti back into Bolognesi in the middle. And really tireless cutting downfield, sets up the passes, but it is again blocked with authority. It's Lundsman this time.
Denied by Lundsman. This time she decided that it's time for Switzerland to get a shot on this break opportunity.
Not so much closing that window as she slammed a door shut in the face of the Italians. Niederhauser deep in her own end zone. Gets it back to Lundsman. That's the kind of vision you need to employ to open up some more space against this zone.
And get
Throwing
out
it
of
over the top again. They're sucking in Italian defenders, which means if you do make that catch, that kind of shot is available. It's always going to be creeping away, and was going to take something otherworldly from Schenk to bring it in.
That was a very big shot because Schenk is very fast. She got a real fast feet. Whenever going deep, she will never need to lay out. Usually just go and grab it easily. So this one, believe me, must have been really fast shot.
An immediate cut under from Baroni. I like the little shoulder fake as well before making that move, although there's a call. Foul on Stefanelli. I think the Swiss kind of taking umbrage with the way that some of these Italians are setting up their cuts. Well, might not be on Stefanelli. The foul is in fact a discussion that's happening closer to us, happening between Schindler and Scazzieri.
I think Scazzieri is getting very used to the American style of playing, a lot of contact, and has to get used again to the soft European plays, as some might call it. This is always fun when you look at World Championship like in Nottingham 2 weeks ago. You have players using the USAU rules and trying to figure out what is going on the field. Like, why are they calling this a foul? Like, I've barely touched you. I'm like, dude, you flew over me, backpacked me. But it's still not a foul. It is in our rules. So players discussing what's happening. This goes back.
We're not as much of a fan of the extra physical contact here in Europe. Certain nations are. The Irish, the Belgians, not afraid to get a little bit bumpy.
Well, the Italians as well.
That's actually quite true. Bengi gets it to Bolognesi. And that was a hard breakthrough to pull off, and she made it look so simple. And then a big swing across, but the disc falls just shy. So we've had a good few turnovers here in the Swiss with another chance to fight themselves back into this game with a break. They haven't got a break yet. Now would be a great time to get started. Annika Lundsman picking up the disc. Forced to go immediately backwards, but then receives it again and gets a quick pop up. Now that's a nice bit of play against the cup. operating inside it very well. Lundsmann and Niederhauser. Niederhauser immediately reloads Lundsmann. Lundsmann showing off a bit of ambidexterity, using both hands, both backhands available. Pacifico. Down the line, and then another pop back to Lundsmann. Niederhauser makes the cut. Pacifico. Back to Lundsmann, and there's a bit of more give-go. That can really work against the zone, but now the Italians have switched to match defense. Lundsmann goes with the backhand break and gets it! That score was needed, 6-4.
What a pivot, that stretch from Lundsmann to reach far enough for that backhand around in the break side. What a way to score that break. First break for Switzerland. It is 4-6. They haven't said their last word. They're also willing to get to the semis, so watch out. The breaks have started.
So you see again, Lundsmann worked very well with a mixture of Niederhauser and Pacifico in the handler space, just the pops, the passes, setting each other up, and then able to take full extension backhand break to Schindler for the crucial break, 6-4. We had a little look there at some of the fans. I think that was the Italian mixed team.
That was the Italian Open team. Guys who just finished. Oh, this is our own teammates. Lolo on the cameras. Cheers to Lolo.
Mr. Fix-It, something of a Swiss Army knife himself. Always around, taking care of the things that go wrong. And trust us, these conditions, you think they affect performance on the pitch. They really can impact us, but thanks to our great team, we're able to pull these things off. And we are, of course, dressed by the wonderful Force Ultimate Apparel, dressing as well the French, Irish teams, and Swedish, along with our entire crew and all the tournament staff and volunteers. So Force Ultimate, bringing you our stats in-game as well, helping us to bring you this top quality coverage and this top quality Ultimate. Scazzieri. Hasvengi doesn't want to send it, goes back to Bolognese instead. Bolognese, Arcangeli. Across, and they continue the swing. A big bid from Lundsmann, but Sorrenti was equal to it. Bengi. That's a magnificently arced backhand break all the way perfectly into the path of Irene Scazzieri.
Again, completely alone, getting free, getting that run done for that beautiful around all the way to the corner of the end zone. Very hard to get for the defense. Very hard to get a hand on this one. Who threw that? That was Bengi, I believe, right? Obviously.
Obviously.
Obviously has to. How many for Bengi so far? 3 assists already. 7 goals for Italy, and she got almost half of them on her stat board.
And she's getting them with some incredible shots as well. Some of those, that inside break earlier on, that backhand, the angle on it was immaculate. Perfectly thrown out in that arcing path, so Scazzieri can follow it the entire way and catch in the end zone for the score, 7-4. So the Italians staying in control and not letting the Swiss go on a run to counter the one that they just completed.
Scazzieri, non-surprisingly, leading the stat board for the Italian team with 28 assists and goal in total, with only 8 assists, so 20 goals in 8 games. Crazy.
And adding to
And
her
not surprising.
assists tally already in this game as well, with 3. Niederhauser, Cerule, spreading it to the opposite sideline. Very nicely done, not letting them get too trapped. It was Riedvig on the other side. And that one was just a bit too high and bounces out of the hands of Cerule. And they immediately, almost seemingly immediately get it back. But you can see Yannick Galland saying, yeah, I definitely fouled you. I was hoping you wouldn't notice.
Maybe she wouldn't notice. I hit her arm.
So now the Italians hoping to get another break and take half in a commanding 8-4 lead. But again, there's going to be a foul called. Niederhauser just taking a bit of a jog, perhaps burning off some of that conversation, doesn't want to slow down. I think she's coming back to uncontested as well. I really like that move. Pankoti patiently waiting. No, they're going to have a discussion.
Just let her have her jog. I'll wait here until we can discuss what happened. Yeah, there was a lot of contact on that cut. Definitely. I was wondering, like, what will be the outcome? Well, here you go. We have another look. Bit blurry. They're running too fast. They're running so fast we cannot see them clearly.
Just blurs on our screens. Here's the wide camera shot so you can make up your own mind at home. How much contact? Well, from that angle, and it is difficult because it's such a small part of the screen, but it does look to me that Nita Hauser reaches through and knocks it away from Pankoti, but also knocks a hand on the way in. What do you think, Charlotte?
I'd say it's a lot of contact. It depends on what players have agreed so far in the game. You know that some of them like to play like this. If you do play all the game like that, just accept that there will be also contact while trying to get a hand on the disc. If not, then you can call the foul. But I don't know how these two players agreed so far on the game. Also,
Casarini restarts. Capucci back to Casarini. Loads up one going all the way down, and the blade is well weighted. Manages to find the Italian jersey, and Capucci sprints upfield to try and get the hop in stopped. I think perhaps just short of the line.
let's have another look on the replay. What happened? Capucci getting the hand. She might be in bounds. A lot of traffic anyway.
So plenty of action still to come to you here today in this final round. But remember, we do have the Diversity Showcase happening at 7 o'clock, so a special late show for you from the University of Limerick Fields.
So Italy is here with the halftime disc in hand. So close to the end zone, one step away.
Capucci looking for the option. There's going to be violations called. Feels like a couple of players moved a bit too early. Susanna, one of them. And they come back in. Capucci looks for the shot straight through, and the goal. Nope, another violation called.
That was a laser shot from Capucci. Finding Pankoti. That is Pankoti. It is Pankoti. I don't see well. It is Pankoti. I love the body language. You can feel and translate what is happening, even though we don't hear them. Always nice to commentate the Italian games. We don't need to hear.
There's so much that we can interpret just through sight. A very emotional, very passionate team, and one that at 8-4 up at half certainly seems on track to join their mixed and open clubs in the semi-finals.
They are looking good, and maybe before taking the halftime break, let's just see how the other quarters are going, because we have Germany leading over Netherlands 7-4. Belgium Czech Republic seems to be very tight one, only 2-1 for Czech Republic, or maybe it's not updated. Anyway, GB is leading over France 7-3 on the other stream. So a lot going on.
Plenty of action still to come in this spot, as in that Germany versus Netherlands match, the winner of that will go on to play the winner of the Czech Republic-Belgium game, whereas the winner of this game will play the winner of France versus Great Britain. So there is potential for an Italy-Great Britain matchup in two separate semi-finals. But all of that remains to be seen tomorrow, as today we still have a whole half of action still to come, with Italy in the driver's seat, 8-4 up over Switzerland.
We are a group of ultimate players, coaches and video enthusiasts. We've worked with the major federations and the greatest events.
We're on a mission to make Ultimate huge. We want our videos and live streams to be free to watch,
We want to make stories that not only reach you,
but also reach people outside the Ultimate community.
Like and subscribe, ULTI.TV, the best in the world.
become a member, and
fund
fund
our
our
work
work.
to cover more events in the future and to bring more stories and live coverage to the eyes of the ultimate world and beyond.
We live in a world where everything can be referenced online. Imagine if the greatest moments in our sport were never filmed. Eurodisc continues to do what it takes to make free-to-watch live streams a reality. Let's leave nothing to the imagination. We'll consume the action live, and we'll support those that help to make it happen. If it wasn't streamed, it didn't happen. Eurodisc.
What a grab! Oh my! Somehow they do it! Welcome back, everybody. The second half will be shortly underway here in the quarterfinal between Switzerland and Italy. But before we go there, we're just going to have a quick look at some stats from this game. Charlotte, what has stood out to you in the first half?
Well, definitely we see that Italy had more breaks. That is normal seeing the scores. However, we see that Italy had 7 break chances and took more than half of them, concluded more than half of them. While Switzerland had 3 break chances, did 1. So these chances are here. The break opportunities are here. Just need to seize them and conclude.
The Italians' offense is still flawless, which is incredible. The only turnover that they've had on a point that they actually scored was from their D-line. They were still able to knock it in. That was the one to make it 6-2. So the Swiss are going to need to try and mix up a few things. They got 1 break from a very lengthy point, but outside of that, the Italians have really been impressive. And then in terms of the Swiss trying to get their offense going, that woman right there has been a major obstacle to their deep game. That is Maria Sofia Marrero. She is so impressive in the deep space, and there's been a few times where Cerula's looked deep trying to send it, and she is just either with a huge layout or just great positioning, used her body, used her awareness and her intelligence to get in the way and get some critical blocks. So I'm not sure what the Swiss are going to be talking about right now, but I imagine part of it will be how they can expand their offense and try to make those scores a little bit more comfortable for each other.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to pass Marrero's vision. She played a lot of handball. She doesn't play Ultimate for so long, about 2 years only. Had great years practicing with the Cheetahs and also a bit with Shout in Bologna. And really, her vision of the game is already really good due to her experience in other sports. Her tall body, she knows how to use it. Played also with the mixed CUSB team at Cincinnati last year. There was a CUSB mixed team, the Red Shots. Taking part, she took part at this experience as well before coming to play with Italy, even though she's actually not really Italian. She lived a long time in Italy, but she has a lot of different origins and languages in her packet, in the package.
Brilliant throw straight through the zone. 3 different Italian bidders didn't get anywhere near that one. Nice little bit of patience as well. I think they were hoping Schenk would rush a decision, but no, she stays steady. Lehmann. Lehmann's able to get it back on the dump pass taken in by Lobel. Back to Lehmann. Now Lehmann down the line to Schenk. Schenk shoots, searching for the end zone, but overshooting in the end. And Meyer has to just watch it fly past.
I'm sad. I'm disappointed here because I love seeing Meyer give us her crazy layout. She's the one who can go horizontal like crazy. I really enjoy seeing that. So I'm a bit sad that we didn't get. I thought that was a moment we would get that layup from Meyer, but later. Let's keep it for later.
Well, they don't want to leave it too late, as right now 8-4 down. The Swiss need to take every advantage available to them, and another break at this stage of the game could be critical. Incredible inside flick, but the follow-up doesn't work out, so the Swiss get away with one to a certain extent. Lehmann, front of the end zone, just forced to float one in and taken comfortably in the end by Annika Lundsmann for the score, 8-5.
Here is the goal. Switzerland got their score, getting 1 point closer to the leading Italian score. So we are at 8-5. After one turnover, they retrieved it and could score their hold. They got their hold. However, now the real deal is starting for Switzerland. They do need to get defenses and breaks. The turnovers, we've seen few ones, but not enough. As you were saying, the O-line from Italy had a pretty clean path so far. Only one point where they got broken. They had 3 turnovers. The rest all clean holds. So really, Switzerland needs to find a way to stop that flow, so stop that momentum of the O-line. I don't know, shut down the deep space of Scacchieri or try to flat mark Bengi. Something needs to be done to stop that.
We'll see what they come out with as the Italian women, with a side stack and an isolation downfield, able to get the shot up, but brilliantly sniffed out and snuffed out. On the defensive side, Niederhauser recognized the isolation they were going for, almost laid a trap, waiting for Stefanelli to slow her roll, and then speeding up and getting the run-through block. So this is what the Swiss needed. Schenk, disc in hand. Again, is just going to take a little bit of umbrage, I think, with Perini on the mark.
I love that look from Niederhauser, where you know this pass is coming and you know you're fast enough to go get it, but you have to let the distance wide enough so the throw goes.
Schenk, down the line. Collected by Lastufka. Stufa gets it off. Nice and quick. Guabite. Guabite gets the pop back to Schenk. They're not trying to force too much. The Italian sideline screaming, 2 Italians converging, and there's going to be a foul called by Laura Niederhauser. Incredulity creases the face of Charlotte, and I gotta say that does kind of make sense. Seemed like Bengi was in position, and it's retracted. Niederhauser coming to the same conclusion. Again, we just have to mention this. You make the call, but then you retract it. That is great spirit. It's understandable. You don't want to then just be frustrated and carry that negative energy. Make the call, think about it for a second, take that breath, and then come to the fair decision. So the Italians with another chance at this hold, and an incredible grab by Scacchieri. Bengi juking and jiving in the middle of the pitch, but cannot escape the attentions of Schenk. And then there's a brilliant leading throw from Scacchieri. Honestly, I think a lot of that was about the throw, the crossfield flick. Ooh. And there, Mackline totally on purpose. I'm sure they'll claim it later. Sorrenti able to get the finishing shot off the Scacchieri.
I mean, this is so good. That was the best outcome of this situation. I mean, Scacchieri just tipping the disc out in the hands of Sorrenti to put her in power position to get an assist on her own cut continuation. Oh my God, I love that. That was so smooth. That tip, that power position, and the back end of Sorrenti obviously going in the end zone space for Scacchieri. It is so typical play, and at the same time they managed to find a way to change to be more original so that you don't see just Sorrenti throwing a backhand to Scacchieri. I mean, look at this tip. Sorrenti getting it. Scacchieri thoroughly sprinting to the end zone. It's the moment, it's the time. That is a really cool point.
I mean, it was so smooth it almost looked intentional. Of course, if it was intentional, that would be a turnover, so it wasn't. but Scazzieri recognizing if she didn't get her hand out there to get that block on it, then I think it was going to be a blind D for Mandy Lobo. So great heads up play by Scazzieri. And of course, like you say, just an expected finish from Sorrenti. That backhand, rock solid. So now the Swiss, they had their chances to get the break. Now they're back trying to get a hold, and an amazing grab from Cerul. Mayor, back to Cerul. Okay, faking the big deep shot. Marrero is down there, so perhaps a lot more dissuaded than she was in the first half. Understandably so. The Italians continue to try and pile on the pressure, but good work initially anyway. Huge bid. And it's going to be a turnover. Fantastic defensive presence from Susanna Casarini. Recognized they were trying to work through the middle and responded as necessary. Casarini now with the disc in hand. Shoots the flick, launching for the end zone. Brilliant body position. An excellent defensive effort by Veronique Mayor. Initially it looked like that was going to be another break for the Italians, but Mayor had other ideas. This is that grab by Cerul. Not an easy grab at all on the trailing edge. Here's Casarini with the huge layout block. And then finally, just look at Mayor's positioning. The way she plays the player first. She recognizes where Capucci is cutting to, gets in her line with her own movement, and then stops the completion.
Great boxing out, as we call it. You're actually not boxing, you know?
Well, hopefully we don't descend into pugilism on this pitch. So right now it's been a very well-spirited affair, and that shot is not what Cerul was looking for. Great heads-up block by Milanesi, and there's the quick pop-in for the score. Completed by Capucci, and a break, 10-5.
That could have been O'Callaghan. That was in the end zone. Catch it. That could have been O'Callaghan. Oh my God. She was fully on the disc. She just smashed it down with both arms instead of catching the Callahan. Oh my gosh. No, don't lose. Oh, don't miss these opportunities.
We basically have a saying here at ULTI.TV, which is catch your Ds. And normally it's because people go for these tip blocks and they wind up the offender still able to chase it down and get the catch. That instance, come on, you're leaving glory on the table.
I mean, still, great defense. She got a block on her stats. Her teammates also, got their own assists and goals. It's a break. They're one step closer to getting to semis. It's still glory. It's still nice, but it's still not a Callahan.
Of course, the real focus is on the team, but
I mean, a Callahan highlight on streaming. Don't miss that opportunity.
let it live forever. But so will a medal at Europeans. So plenty still here to see as it goes to 10-5, and another break for Italy. They have extended their lead and gotten a little bit closer to completing the Italian trifecta in the semi-finals. Big pull flying out of the arms of Francesca Sorrenti. Collected by Lundsman on the other side. Lobo gets it back to Lundsman. I believe I can hear some Swiss support trying to sing a song and keep their women in this contest. Last remaining Swiss competitor in the quarterfinals, the open team falling to GB. I like the idea, but I think Lundsman could have kind of ran up a little bit more for that pop from Schenk rather than just accepting the pass back. And once again, they try to throw through it. This time it's the form of Cesana who cuts it off. This zone is giving Switzerland all kinds of problems. Rabalia shoots, but overshoots Sorrenti in the end. And momentarily just giving us a little bit of that.
That Italian talking arm gesture, hand gesture. If you don't know about it, go watch the late night show when we had Italian guests from the mixed team explaining us exactly how you should properly use these hands and what it means.
So we're very lucky to have Nicole and Josh come and join us. I believe that was 2 nights ago, although the days are starting to melt together. That is Limerick's Late Night Live from 55, our review show at the end of every day of this wonderful tournament, brought to you by Eurodisc. And if there's any weather you're throwing in, Eurodisc is the plastic you want to be tossing back and forth. Top quality discs for Ultimate all across the world. Schenk. Lundsman. That was a very nice throw across to Lobel.
Not the first one, and still very nice and efficient. Always working out and getting them out of high stalls.
As we see the Swiss continuing to work, just passing it back and forth. Schenk, Lobel, and maybe Rabalia getting caught with their hand in the cookie jar. Just sneaking. Oh, it might not have even been Rabalia. I think it was Pancotti.
Switzerland got ready for that zone. They already faced and also practiced against Austria. But they still seem to be struggling and having a hard time to get out of it. We see Lundsman always getting nice shots to move forward or sidewards swings.
The call is down. Raidvik agrees. Pancotti immediately picks it up and goes. Regalia and Pancotti working together. Galante comes back, but Regalia instead goes across. Giovannini. This is quick swinging, and there's the backhand shot. Overthrown though, very surprising from Sorrenti.
I didn't see jump. Oh, this jump tried. I was surprised not to see her jump. But yeah, that was the typical backhand from Sorrenti again, as I told you. However, this time maybe a bit too far overshot, even for strong and fast legs of Pancotti. Switzerland back in possession of the disc for their hold. Working things out with that zone.
Still trying to find a way through it, and so frequently it's when they try to go through the middle, they just bobble a catch, or they overthrow each other, or just straight up throw it into the waiting traps of the Italians, and a blue shirt gobbles it up. They're swinging with good effect, but they need to get some penetration through the middle of the pitch. Lundsman.
They do, or maybe get that disc moving more, having more handlers closer and not just wait for these holes. Found efficiently by Lundsman again, but you might need more people running around the disc. Okay, maybe not that much. Now it's too much at the same time.
They need to strike a balance, somewhere in the middle of that many people running around the disc. Lundsman to Schenk. But again, they're catching it parallel. You could try and jump up from behind and just get a bit more extra, like just like that by Lobel, and then you can force the cut back with a fake. There's a bit of contact on the far side. So a foul called. Susanna, I believe, calling it on Egger.
As they're discussing this foul, I give a quick update on the other quarterfinals. So Czech is leading over Belgium 7-4, while Germany is leading over Netherlands 9-5, and GB still leading also over France 9-5. Also streamed the GB France game on the other pitch, also provided by ULTI.TV.
Your source for live, wild and free Ultimate. Lundsman. And it's bobbled again, trying to go into Schenk in the middle. So Regalia, Susanna now, across the Marrero. Sees a couple of cuts, doesn't want Pancotti, instead to Susanna. And then a great catch by Marrero from your, I was wondering had I misread it. Rabalia getting that backhand into Marrero, and another break for the Italians, 11-5. It's a commanding lead.
That was more oof of, ooh, that was hurt. That is a really good one. Good catch, one hand catch. Very secure and confident with her catches. but that worked out. I mean, 2 breaks in a row again, 3 points in a row for Italy. They're definitely nailing this one. They have the intensity needed to qualify, and they're really fighting until the end. It's not because they have the advantage that they're like molare. In Italian, you'd say molare, and I don't know the English word for that. Well, good for the Italian fans. They don't molare, and they keep fighting, even though they have the advantage.
Are we about to get censored by YouTube Italia?
No, molare is like when you cool down, you're like
You relax.
relaxing, yes, getting comfortable, and
In a bad way or a good way?
it's in a bad way, like because
Lackadaisical would be the English word for that. Lackadaisical. It is when you are too relaxed to your own detriment, to your own
Exactly.
undoing.
well, they don't do that, and that's the whole point. They keep fighting.
Sarul with some big fakes, but saying no to all of the passes initially anyway. Eventually able to get it to Guabite. Guabite centers it back into the middle in the waiting hands of Lehmann. Oh, forgive me, that was actually Pacifico.
Faking a big hug. Even her teammates were scared of being on the way.
A nice leading pass chased down by Guabite. Oh, and a brilliant layout block. Again, they try to go through the middle. And again, the Italians shut the option down. Casarini this time. Bengi back to Casarini. Casarini with a backhand, leading it all the way across. Rabaglia looking for Casarini. Initially, a nice little bit of jump defense, but Casarini is able to get it anyway. Stutter step working out. Rabaglia goes for the breaker cross, and it looked perfect, but just bounces out of Bengi's hands.
It's fun to see how the O-line, no, this is a G-line.
And Sarul wastes no time launching one all the way downfield. Casarini's in the area and does just enough to knock it away from harm's way.
Good look from Casarini. I was about to say that this D-line then, it's fun to see how their style of playing is exactly the same as the Shout one. When you see them play, they play the exact same way as Shout does, and it's actually pretty logic when you see the number of them present on this line. I mean, half of the line is Shout, even more.
That was an incredibly close one. You might have heard the shouts of frustration from the Swiss sideline. Not so much shouts as gasps. Great grab by Bengi. It looked like it might have gone a bit too far, but she snatches it out of the sky, secures possession. Wants to get a pop back, eventually able to get it back to Capucci. Capucci, Casarini. And Casarini with an adventurous high arcing pass, but wonderfully weighted and well weighted for on the other end. And here come the Italians storming down the pitch. They want another break. They don't want to give the Swiss any chance to recover, to recuperate, to fight back into this game. They want that semi-final spot. Depending on who it'll be against, GB or France. Casarini now on the near side with the disc. Bengi makes an immediate cut in front, and that one was a lot harder to control. Bounces off her hands, so the Swiss will get another bite at this point.
She could have had that third try, I think. Like, she can lay out. It wouldn't be the first time you see Bengi lay out. So I was quite surprised to see her give up on that one.
Sarul tries to arc that around, but overshoots Pacifico. Underthrowing on the opposite side harms.
A lot of turnovers on this point. Players seem to get tired.
Might be an idea to call a timeout, although first you want to get off the sideline. Bengi able to get that down the line. The poach comes through, but not in time. Castarini looking for who is exposed. Finds her in the middle of the field. Capucci doesn't force that one. Sarul points out that he did jump forward though with that fake, so you're gonna have to take a quick step back. And again, they're just messing up on these short turns, or giving up turns on these short passes in the dump space. See Bengi almost immediately peeling off to the deep space. Sarul has the disc, and you know she wants to shoot it deep. 3 Italians hanging out back there, letting the other 4 put pressure in the handler space, which means that there is an option to drop a couple of passes over the top of the zone. But right now they're content to go through it, Galland. And that's a huge shot. It might have needed a bit more turn. Lots of sprinting required. I like the look initially by Avtokic, but needed to put the opposite edge on the disc and arc it around to the receiver. Asking an awful lot of Hostetler.
And here's the timeout you were suggesting. And
2 turns later, by the way.
2 turns later, but better later than never.
So an understandable decision as the Italians have another opportunity to get a break and push this lead out to 7 as the score currently stands. Italy 11, Switzerland 5.
Search for Hive Ultimate on YouTube to learn about our cutting-edge strategies and to see analysis of world-class teams. To find out what Hive can do for your team, head over to our Patreon page where you can gain access to our exclusive drills and session plans and to join our worldwide community of coaches. Get ahead of the curve with Hive Ultimate.
Back everybody to the quarter-final action here at the end of the day. Well, it's not quite the end of the day, it's the end of our normal time slots. We do, of course, have the wonderful diversity game that will be coming to you at 7 o'clock on these pitches, as all our games come to you live, wild and free on YouTube, and it is only thanks to your wonderful contributions through our Patreon and through the support you give us, as well as the incredible support we get from our sponsors, Tokay. Play like you're not wearing cleats. The only cleats that are made specifically for Ultimate. Find them anywhere you find Ultimate. That is Tokay Cleats. And Force Ultimate Apparel, who have dressed the Irish, French, Swedish teams, our ULTI.TV crew, and the whole tournament staff and volunteer crew. They are everywhere in Europe, and they are powering us to bring you the on-screen stats. As right now on screen, we have the Italian D-line looking to push their lead further out, and the Swiss trying to hang on to this game with their fingernails, Charlotte.
Yeah, they are but struggling a lot against this Italian zone, giving them a hard time and not letting them play the game they should and would usually provide. That can be pretty frustrating, knowing that they have a lot of great talents on that team, a lot of strong players capable of a lot.
I like that, given the opportunity to have a conversation, the Swiss have decided to come back out in a zone. Trying to break it down. Looks like a cup to me, Charlotte.
It definitely is. I mean, this is a big cup with 4 players.
As Bengi gets it further down the line. Gets it back across to Castellini. Perini. Gets the quick pop back with Capucci. They work together oh so well. But doesn't force anything into the end zone. Now they're right on the edge. Waits patiently for it. There's the jump in attempt from Susanna Casarini. I think they're going to call her out. You nearly always are. That's something the video replays have taught us over the years. When you're trying to do that hop in, you're almost always still catching it with a hand, with a foot even, on the ground.
I love how sometimes it's so obvious, but it doesn't feel obvious when you're the one jumping.
Casarini waits for somebody, and you can see just the huge poach. And it works out. I mean, they were so focused on that front corner. The Swiss committed an extra defender, and rather than look for the poach in the backfield, Sarul wastes no time shooting it deep, hoping against hope to find Avtokic downfield, but instead it just rolls into the ground, and the Italians go again. This point extending further.
How many turns?
I would hazard a guess at 6 apiece now, but we will find out courtesy of our statistician, Dice, who's always a safe bet. Leading past the Bengi, big layout collected. Bengi doesn't want to have to go back on defense. She's looking to get this break in. And another huge layout. These are incredible plays. Arnelli with the trailing edge grab. And another pass to the far sideline. Casarini Leading pass just down the line, hoping to finish it off. Rabalia tries to find Cazzarini, but throws it past her, and once again the opportunity goes begging.
I think it's the 10th turnover. Apparently our stats told us it is 9. This is the 10th. Oh my, this is the longest point we've had so far.
It is stretching out ad infinitum. But one of these teams has to finish it off. Who will it be? I've long held the belief that the team that scores these mammoth points is the one that goes on to win the game. And while that seemed a little bit unfeasible right now with the Swiss so far behind, you never want to underestimate the power of putting away one of these points. Of course, if the Swiss do score, I'm sure the Italian call will be yes, but that was a hold. It is their D-line that's out there right now.
There's a lot of discussion over those marks, Italian marks. I think Satan will not be happy with how this is going. Apparently a lot of violations on the marking. The mixed team vibing on the sideline, waiting for the calls to be over to cheer for the team. Or is she the spirit captain and helping with the situation? So in the meantime, updates from the other games. Germany still leading 11-7 against the Netherlands. Czech Republic still 9-5. Maybe we don't have updates about this one, but against Belgium and GB leading 12-5, and we're back in action.
Harms gets it to Sarul. Sarul shoots deep once again, looking for Aftokic. This time it completes. The Swiss on the doorstep. They are rapping. Will anybody let them in? It remains to be seen. Eugenia Harms tries to get the pop in, and it is collected by Tatse Sarul for the score.
Finally putting a score, a hold for Switzerland. That's it again with these big hugs we were talking about. And Avdukic with the layout to save that one. Let's have another look at it.
You said you were expecting highlights in this game, and we're getting them. Plenty of them. A big time grab. Avdukic secures. And then resets to Harms. And Sarul, you can see from how far away she is when she makes that up the line cut. A little shimmy shake, loses Giovanni. We thought she was going to go behind. Instead she goes up the line, hops in, gets the goal. And I don't know if that's exhaustion or celebration that caused her collapse, maybe just a loss of balance, but that one took a while. We were up to 10 turnovers, 5 apiece, but the Swiss get the offensive hold. 11-6.
Here's the hold. We will have another look at the Italian O-line back on the field. Well, the defense from Switzerland will try to stop that flow again. That was, well, flowing properly. These pass points definitely need to find a strategy to stop that if they want to have a chance for breaks. Well needed break for Switzerland. So they are going with a normal defense, but Schenk runs through and get that well-made defense while we're talking.
Schenk right between the ribs of this Italian offense. Noble shoots deep, and that would have been an energizing score. But in the end, great defensive play by Sorrenti. Heads up, staying aware, and gets the disc back. I like the look from Lobel. You got to take a couple of shots like that when you're trying to fight your way back in. Sorrenti says no to the backhand. Well, the big backhand, takes the medium one instead. Gets it down the line, collected by Stefanelli. Stefanelli, Scazzieri. Scazzieri down the line to Laffy, and Scazzieri continues the move, collects it, and I think they're going to call her in. Lundsman certainly agrees. Although much closer was Mandy Lobel. Lobel's calling her out.
It's a game of inches or millimeters for our European friends.
Ireland is a country where an inch is a mile. It's an old saying. It comes from Kerry, where there's actually a town called Inch.
So, Scazzieri is back on the front of the end zone.
Quick attack to the front cone, and then they get the reset. Eventually able to punch it in for the goal.
Very risky small pass. The Swiss bodies laying out in front to try to avoid this one. What a disappointment. They were so close to get a break. Bit too rushed in the excitement of that great defense by Schenk, just running through. That's what I was talking about when I said she is fast, she has fast feet. Did you see that speeding up?
An acceleration, explosive in nature. And if that shot from Lobel had come off, it would have really detonated the Swiss sideline and given them a bit more energy to keep going at the game. So I don't mind you taking that look when you're 11-5 down or 11-6 down even. It's not a time to be conservative. It's a time to start throwing everything you have left, including the kitchen sink. This is the quarterfinal of Euros. This is glory on the table as we look at Irene Scazzieri, currently plying her trade over on the west coast of America, and when she comes to the west coast of Ireland, her lethality comes into full effect as well. 3 goals, 1 assist, an incredible performance by the young woman. Quick look as well at Gianna Arcangeli, who's also been putting in a great performance, a great shift on that O-line, plenty of important passes to go along with the assist and goal she has collected so far. Cerul tries to shoot through that zone, but in the end she only finds Italian hands, this time in the form of Milanesi. The Italians looking to strike back quickly. Milanesi saw that was going to fall short, corrects her cut, very nicely done. Waiting for a dump to become available. Not an easy one. Susanna makes the grab anyway. Rabalia tries to get it back into the middle and does so successfully. Bancotti, Rabalia, waiting for someone to appear in front and attack. Susanna does, but she turns it down in exchange for the much more difficult break throw into the middle of Bancotti, but that one's going to go back. I believe there was a pick called further downfield, so a few different players that stopped cutting.
That was a really good throw from Rabalia. This inside look, like when I see their positioning right now on the screen, like pretty impressed by this angle of shot. Hopefully she's okay. Looks a bit mad.
Was that Hostetter, I believe, who
Yes.
came off and being replaced by Erika Latuska? It's actually maybe gaining an inch or two in the end zone. Try and help shut down Morero. Putting her under pressure, and the second bid doesn't come off. So Latuska comes on and helps influence a D immediately. You see Morero momentarily stops in frustration. Understandably so. Very rare mistake for her.
And back with the zone defense in the corner of the end zone.
And it's an adventurous, expansive throw, but well read and cut out by Casarini. And now the Italians go again, and I do think that's the kind of stuff that the Swiss need to do at this point in the game, but it hasn't really been working for them. They got to find something to give them a spark, but right now they need to find something to help them get the disc back. Rabalia throws it into the middle and plenty of bodies. There's going to be perhaps a dangerous play call by Casarini. Casarini chasing that down. Nope, understandably it's just going to be left as a turnover. Again, these discussions, some of them have gone on a little bit, but for the most part, very nicely resolved and plenty of retractions. Really high-spirited game between these two teams as they're battling it out for a semi-final spot. And there's the switch back to the zone. Cerul spreading it across, collected here by Meyer. Meyer working it down the pitch alongside Rydvig. And there's some quick pop action and the score. And the toss away, Avdokic. So they get the goal, 12-7.
Much easier counter-attack here, like the zone didn't set up or didn't follow, but Susan found the flow, and you see that when they do, how easy it is to score. I mean, easy to say, like find your flow, and yeah, it's easier to play, obviously it is, but it's nice to see it.
It's about finding that flow, right? That's the challenging thing. It's easy, oh, you find your flow, you'll score. That's like saying, yeah, if you lose your defender, you'll get the disc. If you
score, you will win.
Break the force, you'll open up the pitch. Goes, yeah, like, try doing it. It's always difficult. And the Italians have done a fantastic job of finding their flow. There's been a couple of little mistakes, a couple of little errors that when they go into the semi-final, they'll really need to tighten up. I mean, that is a little bit presumptive of me at 12-7, but if they do make it to the final, they will really need to tighten up on those reins.
Yes, the more you advance, the less mistakes can be accepted. I mean, any mistakes
fewer
will
ones
be
will be
really
forgiven.
punished.
Yeah, no, you're totally right. More your mistakes will be much crueler punished. So here come the Italians on offense, but the wind at their back. What little of the breeze persists here in the Thursday evening. Bengi. The quick switch cut and coming back under. A fantastic grab by Baroni. Disc was always going a bit high. Gets it back to Bolognese. Bolognese waiting. Arcangeli on one side. Big rushing through, but excellently corralled. I thought that was definitely going to be a block, but Stefanelli had other ideas. Stall count's got to be getting high right now. Somebody needs to cut, or else Stefanelli needs to take on the breakthrough at Arcangeli. That turns out to be what happens. And that's a lightning inside break. Sorrenti shoots the Bengi for the score on the opposite side, 13-7.
And another goal for Bengi. I think a really good game. 3 assists, 1 goal. That is a really good game for her, I think. A good game for a few of the Italians. Obviously, easier when you have 13 points.
But they've earned those 13 points.
They've
earned them.
Oh, obviously. For sure.
They've really punished the Swiss mistakes more effectively. Things getting a little sloppier as we move through the second half, but has a bit of fatigue coming in. We are at the end of a long day. Although tomorrow will be even longer, as in a rare occurrence, we are having the semi-finals and the final on the same day. But it is a necessary correction to make to the schedule, given we've got storm warnings coming in on Saturday, and it will give us the opportunity to hold a Friday night party that everyone can attend.
Yes, but some teams are not really happy with that. Playing final the same day as semi-finals is quite tough in such intense week as EUC. At the same time, what would you better do? Having the pre-quarter, quarter, and semis the same day, that is absolutely not doable for players, for teams playing the pre-quarters. That would be 3 very intense games in the same day, and having to go to finals this next day after that, that would be really rough.
Most of these teams have been playing 2 games a day all tournament long. And I think it's a preferable option to having no finals, which is what would have happened if we'd left them on Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
Cerul gets it across to Avdokic. Avdokic again, they go for those inside throws, and they're so difficult. It's almost playing into the Italian zone. A bit more movement, I think, would really help them out. That is a fantastic grab by Galante. Looked like it was destined for dirt, but she saved it. Capucci tries to throw it through the middle. There's going to be a foul called.
Let's have another look at the contact on Giovannini. Cirola had a pretty good positioning as well. Like Giovannini seemed to have to cut through Tate Cirola's body to have a chance to grab the disc.
I'd agree with you. it did seem like you're calling a foul because you were reaching across somebody else and they ran through your arm. Because, yeah, but you reached across them. That's what happens. And again, the retraction. So once more we see the initial call and the retraction, showing the fair-mindedness on display from both these teams. It's been exemplary. There's a blown mismatch downfield. Cerulli was no time launching it all the way down there. Hostetler's on the front of the end zone looking for the pop in, and that was 100% caught in midair. Mayor says my disc and gets the score to make it 13-8.
And here's the Swiss hold. Good to see that Hostetler is fine after leaving the field for an injury. She's all fine, running like never. I mean, she's always running like that, so fast. Getting these deep shots for the assist after on Mayor. She was even too fast for the cameras. The replay only gets the end of her run. What a run, full field. Don't let Hostetler alone, Hostetler, sorry, alone in the back of the field. She will go to the zone as SAP. So we are at 13-8. Game is still not over. However, Italy is only 2 points away to qualify for semis. A big work to do for Switzerland if they want to have a chance on that one. You never know with the conditions, with the tiredness of players, what could happen. I mean, we had a hell of a comeback on the game France-Belgium. If you haven't watched this one, go watch it. It's really a good example of comeback and persistence.
That's the pass over the top and ahead of Bengi. So there's the turn they needed. 13-8.
First step done. Converted into a break.
They've had a few chances that have gone begging in the second half. They were yet to take advantage of one of them. All 4 points coming as offensive holds. That disc getting a Lobel, but almost didn't. Cerulli across the Schenk. Schenk wants Lobel, still wants Lobel. Cerulli, and I agree with Schenk. Oh, and there's the throw. Again, they go through the middle. And again, the Italians pounce and just steal the disc back. Sorrenti back to Bengi. Bengi with the backhand across. Almost overshooting, but fantastic catch and feed by Bolognesi. We can't quite see. We got
Bolognesi or Stefanelli? I think you're right. That must be Bolognesi.
I think whoever it is, they might be a little bit injured.
Oh.
So we certainly hope that they're doing okay. You can see Sorrenti. Here will come the pop back to Bengi. That's Bolognesi.
What a grab, but it looks like she was landing on the knees. That must not feel good. However, she got the score, or is it a turn? This is a score. Italy got their hold. 14-8, 1 point away from semis. Italy's 1 point away from semis. Getting tough on the Swiss side. I mean, when the opponent is 1 point away, this is a tough one. But fire still needs to be lit and keep fighting. As long as the game is not over, nothing is done.
Well, I don't hear any fat ladies singing, Charlotte.
What?
Of course, that's because the party isn't until Friday. That's not me being a misogynist. That's an English expression. It isn't over until the fat lady sings. It's a reference to opera, which the Italians are, I thought, famous for. So I thought that was quite crafty, but I realized from the shock on your face, and I can extend that, I assume, to a decent portion of the people watching, I am very sorry for that one. As the Italians look to get back to a semi-final spot.
always like learning more English expression from you, Lorcan. Don't hesitate to give us more of those.
Let's focus more on the lackadaisical word for now, as they center it back to Lehmann. Good work, Lobel. We know that she's not afraid to take on some of those big shots herself. Lundsman back onto the O-line. There's Lobel with a big shot, and there's Marrero in the deep space, shutting it down. Such a threat. I think that's her third or fourth block just in the deep space. And a little bit of an Olé moment from Cesana, ripping that away from Aftokic as she's attempting to come in and earn the disc back.
This is a game disc in the hands of Capucci.
That's one of the main people you'd want to have the game disc on hand with. It's 6 game points, currently facing the Italians, looking to finish it off on a break. They've scored an awful lot of breaks throughout this as the reset comes across the pitch to Pancotti, but will go back. There was a pick called downfield. Cesana collects it in the middle of the field, is able to lead it on for Marrero. Down the line, nicely taken into the hands of Pancotti. Wants to swing back, able to get it, but it was not an easy catch for Galante. The Italians doing a good job of cycling it through players, but not really gaining much downfield. Until Casarini gets her hands on it, floats it along for Rabalia, who then shoots to the end zone, and the score, Pancotti completes. 15-8 it finishes.
Here it is, the final score for Italy, who just qualified for semis. Here it is, the job is done for Italians, who had a really great game, scoring a lot of breaks and giving a hard time to the Swiss. They found a way to shut down the Swiss game, which is very dangerous. As I was saying, they have a lot of fast players, big throwers, but this zone defense was the thing Italy knew they should use against Switzerland to have a chance to shut down their big plays, and it worked. It did shut down the plays. It looked like Switzerland couldn't find these connections, these plays they're used to play, and this is exactly the strategy that was needed. Great job by Italy for that. Good game. Congrats still to Switzerland for that fight. And Italy will be facing the winner of France GB. It's not over. You can still watch the last point on the other stream, but GB is leading 14-9. It is close to the end. Go watch this one to know what is going to happen. On the other side, we have Germany leading over Netherlands still 13-9, and Czech Republic also leading over Belgium 12-8. So probably a Germany-Czech Republic, but we never know. Let's wait for the end of the games. Dai, lo facciamo in italiano. Oh yeah, ok, perfetto. Grazie Venghi per essere qui con noi.
Grazie a te.
Allora, congratulazioni per la vittoria, incredibile, 15-8, ma che scoring. Abbiamo la camera qui. Tu hai avuto una partita incredibile, ma che stats, 1 goal, 4 assist, brava, bello vederti giocare. Allora dimmi un po' com'è stato giocare con la O-line. La vostra O-line ha fatto benissimo, che avete avuto quasi niente turns. Com'è giocare con la O-line?
Vado in italiano.
Italiano,
Ok.
italiano, faccio la
Ok. No, è bello, stiamo man mano costruendo l'attacco, cercando di farlo pulito, cercando di darci ordine con gli scatti. Ogni tanto abbiamo dei momenti un po' di confusione, però sempre riusciamo comunque a portare avanti l'attacco in maniera abbastanza pulita, anche con pazienza, senza buttarlo, diciamo, via in situazioni di anche un po' più di confusione.
So, translation quickly. So the O-line, what we explained is that they're looking for clean game, not rushing things, really looking for the open options and play with that and not go extravagant too much that you might lose the disc. You want to keep that disc, and that is what worked. Apparently, like sometimes there was a bit of confusion, but you waited and got the job done clean.
Yes.
Ok, seconda.
Vai.
È la difesa. Avete giocato una difesa quasi solo zona defense contro la Svizzera. Perché? Ha funzionato benissimo, ma perché quella decisione? Sì.
Allora, dall'attacco cerchiamo sempre, essendo comunque una linea ristretta sul turnover, di mettere su una zona un po' per riuscire a non velocizzare anche il loro gioco, cercare di mantenerlo abbastanza lento in modo tale da riuscire a controllare un po' meglio la situazione. E avevamo visto comunque anche che nella prima partita, dal momento che ci avevamo già giocato, aveva funzionato, e quindi abbiamo continuato questa modalità di difesa.
Okay, so zone defense, obviously to slow down the fast offense of Switzerland, and it worked really well on their first game against Switzerland, so why stop and just continue applying it? L'ultima domanda non mi ricordo. Sì, come di avere tutte le squadre italiane sono in semifinale.
Molto bello.
E com'è?
Bello. Noi per fortuna siamo riuscite ad andare un po' più tranquille, senza fare crossover o prequarti. Open e Mixed hanno vinto il prequarto, quindi di conseguenza il quarto. Adesso ce l'abbiamo tutti in semifinali, sicuramente il morale è bello alto e la carica molto alta, quindi siamo tutti contenti, carichi per giocare queste semifinali.
Bello. So all three Italian teams are in semifinals. We're talking about this. So women team is actually the only one who didn't need to play pre-quarters. Congrats on that. But that didn't stop the mixed or open team. All of them made it. So everyone's super carichi, super happy about it, and like fired up to go to semis tomorrow. Maybe also finals. In bocca al lupo. I hope you will make it. Grazie mille, Bengi. Congratulazioni per la vittoria.
Grazie.
Congrats on the win.
Thank you.
Thanks for the interview and
Thank
rest
you.
well for your games tomorrow.
And keep going. Keep pushing.
Exactly.
Vedremo
Thank
la
you
pop.
very much.
Grazie.
Congrats.
Thank you so much for everybody who joined us. We have got one more game today. That's right, an extra game. Normally we end at this time, but no, in fact, we are bringing you one final special showcase, the Diversity Showcase game. It will be happening on the other stream, so there's still a little bit more action. And of course, tomorrow, a bumper day of action all the way from the semi-finals through to the finals. We will be here from 9 in the morning, going all the way until 7 o'clock at night, as we have one final look at the match stats. I think in the end, the power of that Italian zone really coming to the fore. A lot of turnovers, a lot more break chances for Italy, which just shows how many times they were able to turn the Swiss and turn the screws, running out in a convincing 15-8 fashion to join their open and mixed teams in the semi-finals. So full day of action to come tomorrow after a full day of action here, and one more game, the Diversity Showcase. On behalf of myself, Lorcan Murray, on behalf of the wonderful Charlotte Terrason and our entire ULTI.TV crew, thank you for joining us, and we will catch you on the other stream for the Diversity Showcase in just 20 minutes.
Yeah, ultimate.
ULTI.TV.
As I'm sure it would give in. I know, you know, I know. You don't care about